Welcome to Yeukai Business Show, UK's premier business show where we feature business thought leaders, high achievers, and industry experts. Today's episode is brought to you by World Outsourcing Solutions Limited, a company that specializes in helping executive business owners with virtual assistant services and business growth systems. Here's your host.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the show. Today, my guest is the lifestyle entrepreneur, Jake Kelfer. Now, before I tell you more about him, Jake, just share a snippet with us about what we're going to be chatting with today.
Oh, we're going to be talking about how to leverage a book for transformation in your life, in your business, and for the lives that you aim to impact and change.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's going to be really good. I know. I'm looking forward to hearing it myself as well, and plumbing your wisdom and your experiences as well. The reason for everyone listening, while we're chatting today, and while Jake's in a really good position to do this, is because he's a best-selling author himself. He's written 3 books, one of them being Elevate Beyond. That's such a good title. You ever write a book and think, or you see a book title and you think, I wish I'd thought of that. That's a really good title. Anyway, Jake's really passionate about helping ambitious entrepreneurs to launch best-selling books that helps promote their ideas and showcase their expertise. That's what he does. One of the things that he does. Very active guy. That's one of the key things he does. In addition, also, he gives back. He helps people to realize their dreams of playing pro basketball. He founded the Professional Basketball Combine, and he's going to share a little bit more about that amongst all the benefits of writing a book as well. So welcome to the show, Jake. Thanks for joining us.
Oh, it's so great to be here. I'm pumped to bring the heat.
It's really good. We always chat with experts, but there's so much we can learn from each other. There really is. And I'm looking forward to diving into that. Maybe just to kick us off with, how did your entrepreneur journey start? I know it's a big question, maybe just the condensed version for now. How did you get into becoming an entrepreneur to start with?
Absolutely. I'll kind of give you the rundown. I can take you back all the way, but for time's sake, we'll keep it shorter. So here's kind of how it happened. Is I thought I was going to be a sports agent. So when my dreams of playing in the NBA on the Los Angeles Lakers didn't come true, I wanted to represent the best NBA players in the world. And so I went to college, studied sports, studied business. I was like, I'm going to be a sports agent. I'm going to make millions of dollars. I'm going to buy a house. I'm going to buy an island. I'm going to get married. I'm going to have kids. I'm going to give back. And then I'll speak and write books. And what was really interesting is I graduated college. The agency I wanted to work for went on a hiring freeze and I didn't get hired. And I was like, oh no, what do I do now? Like my entire life plan has already put a wrench in it and I haven't even started, right? So I ended up working with the Los Angeles Lakers and Kobe Bryant during his final NBA season. And from there, I ended up writing my first book. That first book became an Amazon bestseller. That led me to speaking all over the country. That led me to getting back into the game of basketball by wanting to help players. And we created the Pro Basketball Combine. That led me to writing my second book on how we had achieved success up to that point. Then the pandemic hits and all of a sudden we're like, whoa, I can't speak. I can't do the event anymore. What happens now? We pivot online. I write my third book and we really start helping people through a formal program on how to write and launch their very own book to grow businesses and impact. And that's what takes us here today.
Brilliant. Yeah. So you managed to do all of those things you wanted to, but not in the order that you first thought.
Absolutely. I learned really early on, and I'm a planner. I'm an achiever. I like to make things happen. And I learned very early on, and I'm glad that I learned this right away, is that we will never be able to control everything. Yeah. But we can always control how we respond to the situations that we are in or to the things that happen to us. And so I really made it my focus early on to do whatever I could that was in my power to get me to the place that I wanted to go and trust that things would work out. And this is an ever-evolving process on my end, but that was a huge thing as part of my personal transformation, going from this like super hustle entrepreneur to this entrepreneur who understands what my definition of success is and what I want to achieve in my life and what is the path to getting there. And that's been a big lesson that I've learned already in my journey as an entrepreneur.
Yeah. So much in that. Oh yeah. Just we choose how we respond, don't we? That is such a fundamental key really in successful living, whatever sphere and activity we get involved with. Before we dig into the book side of it more, just very briefly again, but just tell us a little bit about the Professional Basketball Combine. So why did you do that?
So I wanted to be, like I said, I wanted to be an agent. And at the time, a year after I had worked for the Lakers, I had my book out. I was speaking all over. I had a best-selling book. I was selling thousands of copies. And I was like, I don't really want to go back to the mailroom and be an assistant at a sports agency and have to grind my way up. And so I thought, how can I make a splash? What can I do that no other 23, 24-year-old was doing at the time that would immediately put me in front of more agents, build my network with NBA executives? And I said, you know what? I'm going to create a secondary NBA draft combine. And so for anyone that's listening who might not be too familiar with it, basically the NBA, the largest organization for professional basketball, they have an event every year for the top players. And I said, what if we did one of these, but for the second tier players who were competing for roster spots? And what I did is I invited all of the agents to send their players to this event. So I was expanding my network with agents while also building something that I could, in theory, use as proof that I was a hustler and that I should be hired by their agency. And what I found out was that the mission of helping these athletes turn their dream of playing pro ball into the reality was more important to me than trying to get the paycheck as being an agent. And so we ended up building this program over 3 years, and we ended up having over 70 guys sign their first contract, resulting in what now has been well over $30 million worth of contracts in the NBA and countries all over the world.
Wow. Yeah. Well done. See, life's bigger than ourselves, isn't it? It really is.
Yeah.
Once we tap into a way of expressing and kind of reaching others in a positive way, yeah, it's really fulfilling as well. That's really good. Well done. Keep it going. Definitely keep it going.
Thank you.
Let's dig into the book thing, because the whole writing process, for people listening, maybe they've written a book a long time ago, or maybe it's one of those, I need to write a book. I know I need to write a book. I need to write a book. And they never get around to it. For whatever reason, let's, for the moment, park the excuses we give ourselves for not writing books. Share a little bit about your journey, because like you said, we were chatting before you started, and like, a book transforms you, doesn't it? And tell us a little bit about the transformation process that you went through, and sort of the benefits of why should we get out of our own way and actually start writing a book.
So I believe, and I have hindsight now because I've launched 3. I'm working on my 4th one now. We've helped countless people write their own books. And I've seen what transformation can happen. But I want to take you back to my beginning, because I didn't know how to write a book. I didn't study writing. I didn't know how publishing worked. All that I knew was that I wanted to help people. And this was inspired by Kobe when I worked with the team, because I got to see the impact he had on the world. People from the UK, people from China, people from all over the world would come to Lakers games and watch him one final time. They'd spend thousands and thousands of dollars. And I said, how do I make that impact? And so I asked myself, and at this point, I still had no idea I was going to write a book. But I asked myself one day after a game, I sat on my couch and I say, what do I know and how can I help people? And you got to understand, at this point, I was less than 1 year removed from college. I didn't know much about anything, to be honest, right? As much as I thought I did at the time, I really didn't know much. But what I did know a lot about was how to land a job, how to land interviews, how to network and build your network as a college student, how to do really well with resumes and things like that. And I said, you know what? I could help a lot of college kids and recent grads get their internship, save them time, and ultimately have more fun in their experience of this process. And so I ended up writing my first book, which became Elevate Beyond. Now, again, I had no idea what I was doing. So you mentioned in the intro, what a great title. Well, Trevor, the truth is I had no idea what to title my book. I'm sitting around at my parents' house because I had to move back home to pursue this. And I'm sitting at my parents' house and I'm trying to come up with a title. And I'm like, how do we get to the next level? What's a good word for next level? And then Elevate popped in my head. And I was like, okay, this is a good start. I like that word. It feels good. And then I was like, where are we elevating to? And I wasn't really great at understanding the importance of niching down at the time. So I was like, well, we're elevating beyond. We're going somewhere, right? And I didn't even know where it was. So I was like, Elevate Beyond. Oh, that sounds good. Like, it was intriguing. And then I made the subtitle, which this is what I've learned is really important, is how to stand out in the job market and discover your passion. And so that was really what clarified it. And that book, I end up releasing when Kobe retires, I retire, and I launch my book, becomes an Amazon bestseller, multiple categories. I get thousands of downloads. And then at 23 years old, I'm being invited to speak on stages at colleges. My book is now required reading in syllabi for college programs. And the craziest thing about it was I wasn't the best career development expert. I had 1 year of career experience, but what I had was enough knowledge and a unique perspective to help somebody who was 1 to 2 steps behind me. And that was the beginning of what I saw as how impactful a book can be in the lives of others, the people you write the book for, but also in the lives of yourself, your friends, and your family, just by having a book. And that put me on an unbelievable path that has given me a chance to travel the world, speak all over the world, and just do some pretty cool things, all because I started with a book.
Yeah, definitely. I like one of the bits of, just as you were sharing that, like, we don't have to be an expert as in everything, have everything perfect, like perfect knowledge like you shared. It's like we start where we are, don't we? Because whatever journey we've been on, we're further than some people, so we can help them on their journey as we continue to grow and progress on our journey as well. So I like that, because a lot of the excuses we give is, well, I don't know enough yet, or I need a bit more experience, blah, 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 whatever, before we do this, that, and the other. Maybe not so much writing a book, maybe it's, I don't know, doing a training course, stepping out, starting a new business. And a lot of the time, all the things you're sharing is really good, because they're kind of killing those excuses as to why we can't do things. And it's a lot more empowering to, let's just get going, try something, start something. It's really inspirational. So really good stuff. One of the things I like that you mentioned about Kobe, and one of the things you learned was he focused on the fundamentals. So just unpack kind of the discipline, if you like, of that when it comes to applying ourselves to maybe writing a book or starting a business or whatever.
Well, I think with anything, okay, if you do the small actions repeatedly in the direction of your dreams, over time you will breed results. Okay, that's just the truth. There's a reason why Kobe would warm up by doing his famous fadeaway jump shot from the elbow on the hoop. There's a reason he did that. Why? Because he got game repetitions over and over again, and he was better than anybody else at that. Now, what's really exciting about this is this translates to every aspect of our life, whether it's building a business, running a marathon, writing a book. And I'll break this down. If you want to run a marathon tomorrow, do you go out and run a marathon? Probably not. What you need to do is you need to get great at the fundamentals. Yeah. You need to take the daunting task, break it down into something that you believe is doable, so that you will do it and then continue to build up. So for you, you would sign up for a marathon. Great, amazing. Then you would buy a pair of shoes. Then you would put your shoes out the night before, so you're more likely to run the next morning. Then you would go on a jog. Then you would eventually work your way up. Now let's talk about writing a book for a second. The same concept applies. One of the big reasons people don't write a book is they're like, who am I to write a book? I don't have the time to write a book. It's just for celebrities and influencers and people that have had so much crazy success. And that's the story we tell ourselves. Yeah. The truth is, a book can be broken down into tons of actionable items that, when repeated over time, can produce a really high quality book in 4 to 6 months. Okay, especially a nonfiction book that you'll leverage for impact and income. And the way that you can really do this is, and this is what we work with people, is how do you break it down to feel good, right? Because we're not going to do things when we're resistant to them initially. We need to do something that we believe we can get done. We can get a quick win from that thing, and then we will keep showing up because we have that reinforcement. So when you're writing a book, one of the first things that we suggest people do is just to create the commitment that you're going to actually do it. That's the first step. Then what we have you do is we have you say, well, why do you want to write this book? And we create your intentions. Then we have you pick who's the book for, the audience, right? You don't want to write a book for everybody. Just make it specific for someone. Oftentimes, the person that you write this book is for the person that you once were before the transformation you had to get to where you are today. Yeah. We call this often the come with me genre of writing books. This is something that we created, and it's saying, not look how great I am, but it's saying, look what I figured out. Come with me as we figure it out more together. Yeah. And then from there, you put it on your calendar. Then from there, you get an accountability partner. Then from there, you begin the outlining, and eventually you get to the writing process, and then you write your book, you launch your book, and boom. Now you have taken the unthinkable, and now you've put it into a tangible product that you can use for the next decade that will impact thousands of lives and bring you hopefully millions of dollars, depending on what your goals are for the book. So fundamentals from Kobe Bryant to best-selling books, it can be done, but it starts with that single action and repeated consistency.
Yeah, absolutely. That's really good. I like the way you broke it down. How do you start forming the habit? The motivational aspect as well is literally, you're going to be writing about something you're good at, or something you like, something that you've experienced yourself. And also with the focus of, this is what I'm hearing you saying, the focus of the things I've learned, I can help somebody if I share that. And it really is like, it doesn't have to be, in huge amounts of detail. It's getting the essence across. It doesn't have to be War and Peace, does it, as such, lengthwise? But it's getting the essence across of, this is where I was, this is the things I did that helped me overcome. These are sort of things that you can benefit from. And it all helps people on their journey as well, doesn't it? It really does. This is really good. What would you say would be some of the pitfalls that we can avoid? So say we start off, okay, all guns blazing, we're going to write a book. We've got everything in place. We've got an accountability partner. We've got it in the calendar. Sit down to write, nothing happens. Again, no inspiration, don't know what to write, not sure where to go from here. How do you because like you've written 3 books, I'm sure on multiple occasions you've experienced that yourself. How do you get Jake to kind of overcome that?
There's a few things. The first thing is, don't write right away. Now people might be like, wait, what? Like, I need to write a book. Well, the people that I've noticed have the most difficult time finishing their book is the people that just start writing. Now, in order to finish a book, you must write, but if you do the prep work beforehand and you outline your book, whether it's super detailed or a little bit more open-ended, that's going to help you get more onto paper faster. The second big thing that we see all the time is people will edit as they start writing. And what this does is this causes a hamster wheel of perfection. So let me give you an example. There are people that come to me and they say, Jake, I've been writing my book for the last year. I'm 2 chapters in. And I say, why is that? And they go, well, when I write chapter 1, I kept revising it. And I wanted to make it perfect. And then I felt good enough to move on to chapter 2. But now I'm discouraged because it's taken me this long. And so one of the number 1 rules that we say is don't edit as you write. You have to write your first draft, go from head to paper, head to computer, get it out as fast as you can. And then after, you'll do a self-edit, okay? So we encourage people, don't actually edit as you write. Otherwise, you'll just repeat chapter 1 over and over again. What's even more crazy about this, when we look at the long-term goals of this, is that if you are constantly editing the first chapter over and over again to get it perfect, well, it's only perfect until you start writing chapters 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, because what you write in 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 might actually cause a change in what you needed to put in chapter 1. And so by trying to be too perfect from the get-go, you miss out on the opportunity to let the book become the book it's supposed to be. So those are 2 things that we see. You write too quickly and then you try to over-perfect it. Those are 2 things that we see that really slow down people from the process that can be easily prevented by doing the prep work and by making sure that you don't edit as you go. And there are a bunch more that we can obviously dig into, but those are some of the big things that we see that either make people feel that writing a book takes way too long, or that make people feel, you know what, this isn't a priority for me anymore. It's just, I got to push it to later.
Yeah, I like that, because the moment we feel like we're stalling, we're more likely to procrastinate and then park it and suddenly prioritize lots of other things and make excuses. I like that. It's really good. It's like, get the thoughts out, get the ideas down, as rough as it is, capture them first and just keep going, isn't it? Get a flow of what you want to say, rough structure based on the outline that you said, and then literally give it some sort of meat as you go back the second time or third, whatever. That's really good. So I know you help people kind of in the whole coaching process of writing the book. What does that look like? Just sort of, is it all online? Do you do sort of different events? What does that look like?
Yeah, there's a few different ways that we help people write their books. So there are typically 2 types of people, either the person that wants to write the book themselves, but needs a little bit of extra guidance, needs a little bit of help of like, how do I edit? How do I get it formatted? How do I actually get it published? And so there's those types of people, and we coach you from A to Z. Our program is literally called Big Idea to Bestseller, because we go from what's your big idea to how do we make you a best-selling author that achieves your goals. And then there's a second type of person, the person who would rather trade money for time. And that person is the person that we will actually interview them, pull out their best information, their best story, their best tips, and then we will actually have one of our writers write the book with them so that they can mostly speak it through the interviews, and then we will actually write it for them and do it all for you from big idea all the way to bestseller. So those are the two main ways that we really work with people, especially if they're using a book to grow their business.
Yeah. Okay, that's really good. That's really good. Good strategy with the options like that. So you've touched on a lot of kind of key reasons of why people should write a book, or even start to think about the first step. Some people take longer to think about stuff than others before they actually make a decision that, yeah, it's the right thing to do. We sort of touched on it partly in the title, really. Writing a book can help save thousands of dollars marketing, can't it? Because like you say, it can open doors that are just harder to open other ways. And you've had that experience yourself as well. Anything else on that you haven't yet shared that you think would be really helpful to kind of help encourage people to consider writing a book if they haven't been before they started listening to us?
Of course. You know, I think something that's super important that we share is that if you can help somebody, if you have helped somebody and you've experienced your own transformation, you can write a book that will help somebody else. The second part is, I believe from my experiences and from me writing books, and this is what's worked for me, that writing a book is the number one marketing vehicle that you can have in your business. It is the most versatile, and here's why. When you write a book, you can save yourself thousands of dollars a month on PR because your book will get you podcast interviews and speaking gigs. You don't need to pay someone else to do that. Your book can be used as a low ticket entry point to welcome people to your world, so you save time on frequently asked questions. You could just send them to your book. Your book can be used as a networking tool that can help you get past the gatekeeper. Your book can be used to create a course, a keynote, or a coaching program on the back end because now you have the framework. A book can be used as a client acquisition tool. You can, if people are debating between you and someone else and you give them a book before they sign with you, boom, now they're going to see you as the expert, someone who goes above and beyond. A book can be used as a client experience tool. Someone joins to work with you, someone buys your product, your service, hires you, you give them a book, handwritten note, boom. Now they think the world of you, they're more likely to refer people, and you're going to grow your business. A book can be a freebie. A book can be social content. What other marketing asset does all of that? Yeah. All for spending a couple months of your life? Not many. And so that's why, to me, and for a lot of our clients, a book becomes the most versatile marketing asset that you have to help you create the transformation you're looking for in your life, your business, and the people that you serve.
Absolutely. Yeah. All of those are very valid reasons why we should definitely think about it. That's really good. Thinking about all of them now. I really like that. No, it's really good. Partly for accountability. Should I say this or not? I don't know. I'm actually in the process of writing a book as well. And for all of those reasons, it's like, that is exactly it. It's like your business card, isn't it? And like, once it's out there, isn't it? It can have legs that you can't have. It can have wings that you don't sort of have yourself. And word of mouth also helps as well. So makes so much sense. You've lived it, and you've certainly been helping people get success by doing it themselves as well. Maybe just as we wrap this up, you've challenged yourself again, haven't you? And you've put yourself out there. Just by the time this broadcast, you'll have just started it, I would have thought. Tell us a little bit about your current initiative.
So I appreciate you bringing that up, and I'm so pumped that you're writing a book. We'll definitely have to talk after this and maybe share with people the progress and everything. But I wanted to put my money where my mouth is, and I love challenges. I love doing the unthinkable. I love pushing myself to new heights. And I said, what could I do that would be really challenging, but also something that would be super valuable for my audience? And I was like, you know what? I'm going to write my next book in 90 days or less. Not only am I going to write it, but I'm going to publish it and launch it to bestseller status within a 90-day time frame. And the craziest part is it's all before my 30th birthday. So I have to write, publish, and launch a book in 90 days or less. And here's what we're doing that makes it really cool is unlike all my other books that I've written, I'm actually going to be documenting the process every single day. And so if anyone's interested, you can actually follow along through this, and I'll tell you how you can do that. But we're going to be giving out daily updates. I'm going to be sharing my process. We're going to do bi-weekly calls where you can actually ask questions about the process. And we already have people that are writing it with me, getting started on their book with me, or they're just watching to see, you know what, this really is possible. Because I want to show people that writing an incredibly high quality book is not only doable, but it's doable much faster than you might initially think. You don't need to do 3 years, come back with a grizzly beard and say, I got a book. You can do a high quality book that can help a lot of people much faster than you think. And so I really want to use this challenge to inspire people and to show people that if you ever want to write a book, here's my process. Come do it with me, come watch me, and then implement it. So I love challenges, and that's kind of what we're doing. It's called Project Bestseller, and everybody can join in if they want to. We'd love to have you.
Sounds really good. Yeah, really good. So how can people touch base? What's the best way for them to follow what you're doing and get involved?
The best way for anybody to follow along my journey, my book journey, would be on Instagram, which my Instagram is at Jake Kelfer, JakeKelfer. And on there, we have all types of free content, trainings. We have how you could follow along while my challenge when I write the 90-day book. We have trainings on how to write and launch your book in an hour a day. So if you want anything, just come to Instagram, come hang out. We'll have a chat, and then we'll go from there.
Sounds really good. Yeah, that's brilliant. Thank you for everything that you've shared. So much stuff just in the short time we've had. So many things you've shared that knocked all the reasons why people shouldn't at least strongly consider. I'll put it that way. People are at different stages, so maybe I'll let you work it out. For everybody listening, work out where you are and how beneficial it would be. Particularly, look at how much you're spending on marketing in other areas, and does it touch half the things that Jake shared? Probably not. So certainly worth thinking about. And again, there's help. You don't have to do it all yourself. There's ways of getting help as well. So it's good. Definitely re-listen to this episode. There's things that you'll have missed the first time, which is definitely worth listening to again. And be honest with yourself. Think about, what's the reason why I'm not doing it? Is there a valid reason? And is it me that I'm getting in my own way? Is there another reason? And what can I do to make a change to enable it to happen? As Jake said, it doesn't have to take years, particularly if you follow along with this 90-day thing. See where you are with it, see what works for you, but see what the next step would be as well. Jake, it's been brilliant. I really appreciate the time and your expertise that you shared with us. You certainly inspired me, and I'm sure everybody listening as well, hopefully has sort of got one or two things they're going to think about, one or two things they're going to put into action with regards to how do they promote and share what they know, because everyone has value, don't they? Everybody's learned something. Everyone's got something that can help somebody else. And to a large extent, we're responsible for sharing that, I think. Depending where you are and your view on life and how you interact with other people. But definitely, we have so much more potential than we tap into a lot of the time. And other benefit, it will benefit other people as well. People lose out if we don't maximize our lives. So really appreciate sharing your expertise and your time with us today. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks so much for having me. I appreciate you.
It's been brilliant. So for everybody listening, make sure you do take action. There's always something you can give. Start where you are and make something happen that wasn't happening beforehand because you've listened to this episode. Thanks for joining us, and we will catch you next time. Bye for now.
Thank you for listening to Yeukai Business Show. We will be back to bring you more episodes with success stories and advice straight from the experts. Want more? Check out www.yeukaibusinessshow.com. Get your free trial of our virtual assistant service today. Just visit www.worldoutsourcingsolutions.com. Quote WOS18 or send us an email at support@worldoutsourcingsolutions.com.